It's time for At Home with the RubberDucks, powered by First Energy. 640 WHLO gets you closer to your hometown team with stories of the game and updates from the season ahead.
Line to left center, that's a base hit and a game winner for the Akron RubberDucks.
Akron RubberDucks baseball, affordable family fun.
High drive to right, that's well hit, back, that ball is gone, it's a home run.
Here's your hosts, Marco LaNave and Jim Clark.
Hello and welcome back to At Home with the RubberDucks. This is the second edition of the new show on our new radio home, 640 WHLO. Again, Marco LaNave with my co-host Jim Clark, each at our homes. And Jim, this was the week that we were supposed to be starting baseball at Canal Park.
Disappointing, but as we all know, we're doing the right thing. And hopefully we can give the fans something to sit back and enjoy until we hopefully get back into Canal Park at some point in 2020.
That's exactly right. And you and I are still going, each at our own homes. Of course, this show will lead up until whenever that season does begin. But in the meantime, we will be with you. So, Jim, later on, we're going to be hearing some messages from what was the RubberDucks virtual home opener that took place Friday, April 17th. But you've got some memories of some previous home openers, and it might be kind of cool to think back to some of those that might stand out a little bit more.
There's some names that folks that probably have not heard or never heard before. My first opener was back in 1990 at Thurman Munson Stadium, and the lineup that day, Mark Lewis, a highly touted top pick, he was the shortstop and leadoff hitter. And Delwyn Young, the DH, Joe Kesselmark, right field, Roberto Zambrano, left field, Laverne Jackson, center field, Jim Tatum, third base, Darren Epley, first base, Robbie Wine did the catching, Manny Francois at second base, and Charles Nagy on the hill. And names folks maybe have remembered after that were probably just maybe Mark Lewis and Charlie Nagy. That's how long ago that was. That's how guys progressed. But that team was a pretty good club. You know, they do very well back at Thurman Munson in the early years. And, you know, you get the rattling. They used to call it the human erector set. It was metal. And as Mike Sarbaugh will talk about, it was a noisy place. But that was my first opener. You know, you look back at openers, and that will always stick out. And then the very majestic opener of Canal Park on April 10th in 1997, Marco. Over 9,000 fans, the pageantry, the excitement of a brand new ballpark. Jared Wright is your pitcher, who also pitched the franchise opener for Akron and Bowie the week before. But, you know, baseball in Akron drew extremely well, carries on throughout the years. And then you get Ken Babby's first opener as the owner, rebranding. There was juice flowing through the ballpark then. There still is now. But the first time is always the best time. And the excitement that he brought, the sprucing up of the ballpark, those are things that, you know, opening day, I don't care who you are. I'm sure you feel the same way. There's always butterflies opening day for everybody who loves the game.
Oh, yeah. And I would say even last year when it was our first game getting to work together, there was lots of nervous excitement, certainly for me. And I'm just picturing for you to each of those days that you describe, opening a new ballpark, that has to be just a remarkable feeling to be a part of and know that you're witnessing history.
Oh, exactly right. You know, they come from Munson, which at the time was a very standard ballpark for minor league baseball. Boy, you get to Canal Park and you walk in, you're thinking, holy smokes, it looks like a miniature Camden Yards, Jacobs Field combined into one. And then the renovations that Ken made, you know, to the Tiki Terrace, brand new scoreboard, all the things they have done. And honestly, I still get that feeling, and this isn't just to say this, but I still get the feeling every time I walk into the ballpark, because it's the game we love, and the surroundings just make everything else go away that's going on when you walk into a ballpark. Your problems are gone for 2 or 3 hours. The beauty of baseball.
Jim, what's your favorite part of an opening day?
I like watching the players, honestly, take batting practice before opening day. You can tell there's a little more hop to their step as they approach it. You always love the introduction to the players as they do in a World Series or playoff formats. They're introduced. Everybody's a part of opening day. And also, I usually walk down to the concourse around 6:30 for a 7 o'clock game opening night and just listen to fans. Let's do this. Let's get down third base. Let's go see this guy. They're back for the first time. You can tell they've been marking this date on their calendars all winter long. They cannot wait to get back into the ballpark.
And certainly the introduction of what's new at the ballpark, and you mentioned the new team. There's just that new shine around the ballpark, and it'll be fun to see that in person, of course, at Canal Park. But for now, it's only in virtual form that everybody gets to experience opening night. And if you didn't have a chance on the Akron RubberDucks YouTube page, you can watch what was the virtual home opener to the 2020 season, the RubberDucks and the Binghamton Rumble Ponies on MLB The Show, the video game. But even before the game, there were some special messages from key people around the RubberDucks organization. We want to share those with you now.
Hey RubberDucks fans, it's Tim Kirkchin with ESPN, and welcome to the first ever RubberDucks opener from home. We can't wait for all of this to get cleared up and get back to baseball. But in the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay patient. And now, sit back and enjoy the show.
Good evening, RubberDucks fans, and welcome to virtual opening day from home. I'm General Manager Jim Fander, and on behalf of the entire RubberDucks organization, thank you so much for tuning in. I'd like to start tonight by saying thank you to all of our medical professionals and all the folks that put themselves in harm's way each and every day to keep us safe. For all of those folks that put their lives at risk and the lives of their families in harm's way each and every day, we want to say thank you so much for your sacrifice and for keeping us safe during this time. Thank you so much for tuning in. I want to thank all the folks in Akron. We can't wait to get back to the ballpark and to join you back here at the ballpark at Canal Park as soon as we can when this pandemic is over. Thank you so much for tuning in, and go RubberDucks.
Of course, you heard from both Tim Kirkchin and Jim Fander last week on this show. Next up on opening day at home was RubberDucks owner Ken Babby.
Hey RubberDucks fans, welcome to opening night at home. We've planned a special night for you, and while we can't all be together tonight, we will be back at Canal Park real soon. That's a promise. Affordable family fun will return, and when it's safe to do so, we will be right back to doing what we love. You know, over these last 8 years, the RubberDucks have played a huge role in bringing community together when we need it most. And when sports returns and it's safe to do so, we'll be right back enjoying those fireworks, that amazing food, and those incredible promotions and baseball on the field. Until then, enjoy the show tonight. I just want to thank those working on the front lines, stocking our grocery stores, keeping us safe, and those in the hospitals that are working long hours during this terrible, terrible time. But we will be back soon. That's a promise. We love you, and we can't wait to see you soon.
And last but not least, it was Ohio Governor Mike DeWine throwing a ceremonial first pitch.
Well, I can't wait till it's time to play ball again and go out to Canal Park and cheer on the RubberDucks.
What a great sound to hear, the roar of the crowd. And Jim Clark, those were some special messages as well.
And the fans need that, I think. They really need to feel that everybody feels as they do. They can't wait to get back to the ballpark.
And again, we appreciate those of you listening and those of you who listen throughout the season and we know are just as anxious, if not more so, for the start of the baseball season. And of course, you are all in our thoughts at this point, and we look forward to bringing baseball to you soon. And clearly that is felt throughout the organization, not just those of us who are fortunate enough to talk about it.
That's exactly right. We cannot wait to present a first pitch to everybody once again.
And Jim, we have something special in this show from a man who has entered the journey of this franchise at different points and now, of course, is contributing at the major league level on the coaching staff. Tell us about your friend you're going to talk to on the show today.
Yeah, I talked with Mike Sarbaugh. Mike, of course, came to Canton back in 1991. Mike came as a player there for 2.5 years. He played in the first game ever at Jacobs Field when the strike was going on, and then left the game, became a coach with the Indians in 95, gets to Akron as a coach later in the decade, and then becomes a championship manager at Akron, in Kinston, in Columbus, everywhere Mike managed. He was part of a championship. And we talk about his early days, how he enjoyed the franchise and all his stops so much. And Mike's a great friend. And I think you'll enjoy hearing from Mike Sarbaugh.
All right. Well, stay tuned. On the other side of this break, we've got Jim Clark talking with Mike Sarbaugh. Coming up later on in the program, we'll hear from the voice of the Binghamton Rumble Ponies, Jacob Wilkins, talking about Binghamton, which would have been the RubberDucks' home opening opponent in 2020. That comes your way next.
You're listening to At Home with the RubberDucks on 640 WHLO, your new home for Akron RubberDucks baseball, powered by First Energy.
Here at Sarah Auto Park, community service has always been a priority of ours. These days, that spirit is more important than ever. Join us as we do everything we can to take care of our doctors, nurses, all other essential businesses, and their employees. If our community needs us for anything, even to safely get a bag of groceries to our most vulnerable, we're here. We'll get through this together. Sarah Auto Park.
Wes Miller here. When my friends ask me who's the number one pick for print and copy solutions in the Akron area, I always tell them Meritech, the pride of the RubberDucks for the past 9 years. Meritech's roster also includes IT consulting, cloud, voice, and data services for a powerhouse lineup to reduce risk, control costs, and increase productivity. So call Team Meritech today and tell them Wes Miller sent you. Meritech Technology to empower your business.
Exceptional care means having access to world-class physicians and services. That's the care Cleveland Clinic Akron General provides to Akron and the surrounding communities. Whether it's primary care or specialized services, we put your needs first with care that is comprehensive and, best of all, close to home. Cleveland Clinic Akron General is committed to the community and your health. To learn more about our services close to you, visit akrongeneral.org.
KeyBank makes it easy to manage your money anytime, anywhere.
I am crushed for time.
KeyBank can help.
How? And how soon?
You have a smartphone?
I have to. It keeps me organized.
Download the KeyBank mobile app and then use your phone to deposit checks on the go, transfer money, even pay bills automatically.
Awesome.
Indeed. Learn how you can make even more financial progress when you use the Red Key. Only at KeyBank. Visit key.com or your local branch. Member FDIC.
Are you looking for a great apartment with the best location? Fir Hill Towers Apartments is just a 5-minute walk to the University of Akron or a 5-minute drive downtown. You'll find spacious living, convenience, and fun with a wide variety of restaurants and entertainment just outside your door. Perfectly suited for young professionals and students on the go looking for off-campus living. Stop by 55 First Street Hill, Akron, or call 330-762-7000. That's 330-762-7000 today and reserve your apartment home.
For a lawn that looks as good as Canal Park, depend on Grassmaster. They're a locally owned and operated full-service lawn and landscape company. The development of a healthy and attractive lawn or landscape requires a great deal of time and hard work. It's Grassmaster's commitment to providing the necessary ingredients of knowledge and treatment materials to develop a healthy and attractive lawn or landscape. By choosing Grassmaster as your lawn and landscape company, you are assuring that your investment is protected and will grow in value year after year. Visit thegrassmaster.com.
Everyone at Honda wants you to be safe. And right now, you need a car you can count on and your dealer to go the extra mile. So if your Honda needs parts or service, we're right here ready to help. Working to follow all government guidelines in order to get you what you need and help you stay safe with a reliable car that's ready to go when you need it.
Visit NorthernOhioHondaDealers.com.
This is At Home with the RubberDucks on 640 WHLO.
Relay home, it is is not in time. Two-run double by Mejia. Akron now leads it 6-2.
Your new home for Rubber Ducks baseball, powered by First Energy.
Welcome back. This is Jim Clark, and this portion of At Home with the Rubber Ducks is brought to you in part by Fast Signs and Texas Roadhouse and Stowe. Open for drive-through, carry-out, and curbside service Monday through Thursday, 3 to 9, Friday to Sunday, 11 to 9, and at texasroadhouse.alohaorderonline.com. Talking about Mike Sarbaugh, the Indians' third base coach. And Mike, thanks for taking the time to chat with us today.
Oh, thanks. Good to have you, Jim. Thanks to be with you.
For those who don't know Mike's background, now Mike came out of Lamar and signed by Milwaukee back in 1989. Came to the Indians in 90, and we crossed paths with the Canton-Akron Indians beginning 1992 and 93. Mike, talk about those teams back in the Canton-Akron days at Old Thurman Munson Stadium.
Well, I think that was part of the start of those 90s teams and with the Indians. A lot of talent came through the minor leagues, and especially through Canton-Akron. Even in 91 when I was there for a couple months, Jim Thome was there. So you had guys that were really on the verge of getting to the big leagues. And then you go 92 with Brian Giles, 93 and Manny Ramirez, so there was a lot of talent coming up through that eventually did help the major league team out. And, that's the one thing back then. I look at a lot of the guys that I played with, and there was a lot of talent.
You look at some of those names, Paul Bird, Alan Embry, Brian Giles, Chad O.J., Plunk, Thome, and then the 93. And Thome is there a little bit in 92 before he got called back up. In 93, you talk about Manny, and there's David Bell, there's Giles, Hernandez, Herbert Perry, Paul Shuey, Julian Tavares. You guys really had two very good ball clubs in those 2 years.
Very much so. And then I think you mentioned him, but like Jose Hernandez, very good shortstop, ended up playing the big leagues for a while, not with us. I think he might have got a little time with us, but, that was Kelly Stinnett was there at one point, ended up catching the big leagues for a while. You knew there was a lot of talent there. And then, with the trades that they had made with Sandy and Carlos Baerga and Lofton and having those guys at the big leagues already, and then to add with, what did you say about Manny? Manny was an unbelievable hitter. And just to have them and the way that Thome developed, being a mid-round type player that just really exploded onto the scene. And then guys like Paul Bird, Chad O.J. got big parts, of some of those playoff teams in the rotation. So a lot of talent.
What are your memories of Old Thurman Munson Stadium?
A lot of good memories, a lot of good times there. Fans were great. I always remember those metal bleachers in the dugout. If they were getting loud, they'd be banging on the bleachers. It'd be so loud in the dugout. But for me and just the group we had there and the teams, very successful teams, it was a big part of my life those few years. So it was a great experience and really enjoyed my time there.
Now, you were an infielder, but you also pitched for Brian Graham and pitched in Veterans Stadium of all places.
That's right. Forgot about that. Yeah. I always say when somebody says, yeah, I saw you pitched, I said, well, yeah, that's what happens when you're a utility infielder. When they have other prospects on the team, when they needed a pitcher, they would go to the guy that was expendable. So, but I had fun with it. And, I always tell my son, I said, hey, I had 5 innings professional baseball on the mound. I said, without giving up a run, I said, try to top that one. So it was fun stuff.
Now your coaching career starts in 95 at Kinston as a hitting coach, then Columbus, and you work your way back to this franchise, then the Akron Aeros in 2000, and a championship team of Brad Kamensk in 2003.
Yeah, again, getting there, we had some very good teams. I think of the 4 years I was there as the hitting coach, I think the 2001 team was the team that we didn't do too well that year, but the 2000 team went down to the end, and I still remember that the series we had in Altoona to finish that year out in 2000 was an unbelievable series. It's one I still talk about with Carl Willis today. We were able to get to a one-game playoff that year, and I think Harrisburg beat us. But that was a great time. And then really of all those teams was the 02 team I thought was our best team, and we lost in the first round that year. And then being able to win it in 03, just being real fortunate to have been, around some great staff members like Brad Kamensk and Eric Wedge, Carl Willis, Chris Bando was there in 01. Just to be able to be there with those good baseball people, and then to see players like Victor Martinez in 02 had the year he had. And then we had Grady Sizemore in 03. And just the year he put together, and then to see what they did in the big leagues the years later, or for many years, it's always gratifying to see what they've done after you see how they started.
Championships seem to follow you. Kinston is a player, as a hitting coach, and then Mahoning Valley in 04, Kinston back in 06 as a manager. In fact, you're the only guy, I believe, who's won a championship in Kinston as a player, coach, and a manager. You get back to Akron later, and, in also in 09, a title team as a manager for you in Akron. Santana, Tomlin, Jose Constanza, Bo Mills, Weglars, 10-0 Stephen Wright, Hector Rondon. You guys had a pretty good team that year, really a great team.
Yeah, and I always say in the minor leagues, to be able to win, you have to have a lot of things go right for you. And when I say about things going right, you either have to have the A-ball team below you not making the playoffs, or the AAA team above you having a rough year. Because a lot of times when those teams on each side of you are in the playoff hunt, a lot of the better players don't get promoted. So we were fortunate that year our AAA club had been struggling. So, like Carlos Santana stayed there the whole year, like you said, Rondon. So our team stayed pretty intact, and that was part of how we were able to keep that team together and have a lot of success and to win it.
A lot of production. Santana drove in 97 runs, Bo Mills 83, Weglars 65, McBride 63. Doesn't happen too many times, because like you say, guys go up and down. You don't see those type of numbers anymore for a whole season for a guy in one place.
Yeah, no, that's true. And I believe that year, in 09, I think Lonnie Chisenhall came up at the end of the year to help for the playoffs. So, that was an instance that year where the Kinston club had made the playoffs. We were able to add a piece to help that club out. But you're right. It was, a really good club, a lot of offense, just across the board. It was just a lot of fun to manage those guys. And Josh Tomlin was huge. And for a kid like him, that it just seemed like each year through the minor leagues, he had to really establish himself each year, because being 5'10", not throwing the ball, didn't throw the ball very hard. So, and the year he had, just a gamer, and we just had a lot of guys that just loved to play the game. Bo was great in the clubhouse, and then what Carlos brought with his talent, it was just a great season, and, very fortunate to have been a part of that.
That was Indians third base coach Mike Sarbaugh. This portion of At Home with the Rubber Ducks is brought to you in part by Precious Cargo Trailways and the Scene 75 Entertainment Center, both in a lineup presenting Rubber Ducks baseball this season. Stay tuned. We'll go back to Mike Sarbaugh right after this.
You're listening to At Home with the Rubber Ducks on 640 WHLO, your new home for Akron Rubber Ducks baseball, powered by First Energy.
Welcome back. This is Jim Clark. And this portion of At Home with the Rubber Ducks is brought to you in part by Ambridge Hospitality, Fairfield Inn and Suites in a Courtyard by Marriott, Akron Fairlawn, and by Visit Jacksonville, all part of the team of partners for Rubber Ducks broadcast this season. Now back with more from Mike Sarbaugh. So you win a title in 09, and it's off to AAA. 2 more championships. You're manager of the year in 07, 09, 10, 11, championships, and those things follow you. And then the big time comes, the call to Cleveland in 2013.
Yeah. I just, real fortunate, I say if things happen for a reason. And, I knew the year before, in 12, going into the 12 season, there was a change on the big league staff, and I was hoping maybe I'd get an opportunity. It didn't happen, and then that whole staff basically got let go after that 12 season. So luckily for me, I stayed in AAA, and then when the opportunity came, and fortunate that I was able to interview with Terry and Chris and the guys there, and was fortunate enough to get that position. But things along the way have helped me. That's for sure. A lot of good people. I even think about having Brad Mills being one of Terry's best friends for years and have coached his son. So, having Bo maybe to give me, put a good word in for me too with Terry. And so a lot of things went my way, and I'm very fortunate to get that position.
And that's a heck of a big league staff you think about it. You talk about Brad Mills. Of course, you have Terry Francona, Sandy Alomar. It's really a great staff. There's expertise in every area.
Yeah. I'm very fortunate to, when I got that job, to have the experience on the staff. I know Sandy had been coaching. His coaching experience hadn't been as long, but just his 20 years playing, that was huge to help me. And then with Brad being in the game and Terry being in the game for so long and having their experiences. And then Ty Van Berkeley had been coaching for a long time. And then with Mickey Callaway there at the time, with knowing him through the minor leagues. And that's a very good staff. And, I look back at that, and it was a special group that Terry put together that first couple years, no doubt.
And success has been year after year. You get to Game 7 of World Series. You win, 22 consecutive games. And people wonder, why all the winning? And I think you guys, and finding players, but you guys as a staff, a very big part of that.
Well, I think, when you look at it, what Terry's such a good people person, the way he handles players. He lets the players be themselves, but he also make sure we're doing it as a team and making sure we're staying within our boundaries. Does a very good job of letting his coaches coach. Not a real hands-on guy, but he's always there if you need him, or if he sees something, he'll let you know. But he lets you do your job, and just the environment he creates is part of that's a lot of the reason why he's had so much success. It's just the way he handles the players. You definitely have to have a talent to win. But when you have talent and how he handles things and how he handles players and situations, does a great job handling the bullpen. Just his baseball IQ is off the charts, and that's a lot of the reason why he has so much success.
As you look ahead to 2020, who could have been a breakout guy that we might not have thought could have been one for this coming season in your mind?
Well, there's some guys there that we feel like have a lot of talent. Like Jake Bowers, for example, has a lot of talent, just hasn't really put it all together yet. He's a guy that, we feel good about. He's very good defensively at first, too, which he doesn't get to play much. And, continues to work in the outfield. Mercado, what he did, I know he kind of came on the scene, but I think this is a big year for him, too, of, he showed what he can do last year. Now teams, how they're going to pitch to him this year, maybe make some adjustments. So big year for him, for having Franmil Reyes, big bat in the middle of the order. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. For young player wise, maybe the guy like a Daniel Johnson, maybe if he gets an opportunity to get to the big leagues, I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do. So we have a lot of talent. We have a good nucleus. So hopefully at some point we can get back on the field.
How much do you guys talk right now as a staff?
Well, we talk as a staff at least once a week with a Zoom call. And then we also have some other calls throughout the week that it maybe might be a little of a bigger group, but we do get to the staff together at least once a week just to discuss players and we're in communication with players. We get strength coaches, the trainers, and trainers do a very good job of staying on top of what the players are, where they're at now, how they're doing, and we also make calls and trying to keep up with them. So, that's just more of just trying to stay together as a group, but also communicating if there's some information we have on anything.
Mike, it's been a pleasure. We've known each other since 1992, and you've been a great baseball friend and really a good friend in every way. And continued success. And, hey, stay healthy, Mike.
Thanks, Jim. Enjoy your friendship and great talking baseball. We're ready to get going, so hopefully we can get back on the field. Hopefully, we can get the country back going here and keep people safe. But good talking to you, Jim, and look forward to seeing you here down the road.
Thank you, Mike. That's Mike Sarbaugh, the Indian third base coach. Coming up next, we'll check on the Binghamton Rumble Ponies as Marco LaNave will talk with Jacob Wilkins, and that's coming up right after this.
You're listening to At Home with the RubberDucks on 640 WHLO, your new home for Akron RubberDucks baseball, powered by First Energy.
Are you looking for a great apartment with the best location? Fir Hill Towers Apartments is just a 5-minute walk to the University of Akron or a 5-minute drive downtown. You'll find spacious living, convenience, and fun with a wide variety of restaurants and entertainment just outside your door. Perfectly suited for young professionals and students on the go looking for off-campus living. Stop by 55 First Street Hill, Akron, or call 330-762-7000. That's 330-762-7000 today and reserve your apartment home.
There aren't many things in life that are easy. There's easy listening music, easy chairs, easy money. But did you know that you can enjoy all three while getting rid of your old energy-wasting refrigerator? You can schedule a pickup without moving from your easy chair. We'll haul it away and even pay you for it. So go ahead, take it easy, and let us take it from here. First Energy's Ohio Utilities will pick up your fridge and you'll get $50. Just visit EnergySaveOhio.com to schedule a pickup. Now that's easy.
Bridgestone Drive Guard tires deliver a clutch performance that won't leave you stranded on the side of a rural road or a busy highway. They're engineered to take a puncture and to keep running up to 50 miles after a flat at 50 miles an hour. Plus, you'll get the smooth, quiet ride and impressive tread wear life you've come to expect from Bridgestone tires. Let the clutch performance of Bridgestone Drive Guard tires give you peace of mind. Bridgestone, proud sponsor of the Akron RubberDucks.
Here at Sarah Auto Park, community service has always been a priority of ours. These days, that spirit is more important than ever. Join us as we do everything we can to take care of our doctors, nurses, all other essential businesses, and their employees. If our community needs us for anything, even to safely get a bag of groceries to our most vulnerable, we're here. We'll get through this together. Sarah Auto Park.
No savvy traveler likes long lines or waiting around. So, lucky for you, the Akron-Canton Airport is easy and fast. With affordable on-site parking, quick check-in, and short security lines, you'll be through the airport in just minutes. CAK gives you more freedom to enjoy the things you love, like vacationing. With low fares to 11 nonstop destinations and just one stop to the world, book your next adventure from CAK.
RubberDucks fans, check out City Barbecue in Fairlawn for the best barbecue in town.
I gotta tell you, City Barbecue is the best smoked meats I've ever experienced in my life.
Literally the best beef brisket sandwich I've ever had.
Definitely the best barbecue I've ever had.
My best all-around barbecue experience ever.
Best barbecue around.
Some of the best barbecue I've personally tasted.
I highly recommend this spot for some of the best BBQ you'll ever have.
Visit citybarbecue.com or stop by 2870 West Market Street in Fairlawn.
Everyone at Honda wants you to be safe. And right now, you need a car you can count on and your dealer to go the extra mile. So if your Honda needs parts or service, we're right here ready to help. Working to follow all government guidelines in order to get you what you need and help you stay safe with a reliable car that's ready to go when you need it.
Visit NorthernOhioHondaDealers.com.
This is At Home with the RubberDucks on 640 WHLO.
Deep drive out to right field. Rafaela turning, watching. It's gone to the Bud Light line. Tiki Terrace.
Your new home for RubberDucks baseball, powered by First Energy.
Welcome back. This is Marco LaNave, and this portion of At Home with the RubberDucks is brought to you in part by Brew Baker's Pub, Crown, Granite, and Marble, and Summa Health, all part of our lineup presenting RubberDucks broadcasts on 640 WHLO. We now continue our conversations across social distance with Jacob Wilkins. He is the broadcaster for the Binghamton Rumble Ponies, who were set to host the RubberDucks on April 9th, and that instead took place virtually as the season opener for the Rumble Ponies. Meanwhile, the Rumble Ponies were scheduled to open Canal Park as the visiting team against the RubberDucks on Friday, April 17th. So neither series took place at this point, but Jacob, it's good to hear your voice. I'm sorry we're not seeing each other in person just yet.
I know. Well, thanks so much for having me on, Marco. Yes, that was a fun home opener to call. And it's funny, we were talking just off air a moment ago how for me last year, Akron was the first game or games I saw at NYSEG Stadium when I took the job in late April, and then was looking forward to seeing you guys to begin this year in home and home. Hopefully we'll get to be at each other's ballparks in the near future.
And speaking of the Rumble Ponies, your front office is still working in some capacity. How are you all doing right now?
Everybody's good, Marco. Thanks for asking, and obviously hope you and yours and the whole RubberDucks staff is in good health, and always appreciate their hospitality when we visit. And so sending our best from the Southern Tier. You know, obviously, as you guys are and as so many are, working remotely. But I think our staff's been remarkable in terms of their adaptability just to put together that MLB The Show opener that we did. And from afar, coordinating with our video, director of video production, our assistant director of video production, director of community relations, all those guys. And then with the TV station that carried the game. Like in so many offices, our group is stepping up and rolling with the punches, so to say, and doing a great job. So fortunately, everyone's doing well here.
And you actually called play-by-play for that MLB The Show Rumble Ponies opener on April 9th. Now, you've done a lot of sports casting, but what was that experience like?
Well, you always hear about folks coming into, like, even if you play any of the EA sports games, MLB The Show Map Excursion, it's like you always wonder how it comes together. Now, our game was a little different. We didn't do tons of takes of everything. I just did the game, basically. But I enjoyed it. I mean, the graphics on the game are incredible. When you put it in broadcast mode, it's like a television broadcast. And most importantly, I want to give credit Mark Purley, who I mentioned, our assistant director of video production, Eddie Saunders, who is a man that wears many hats, director of community relations, marketing, social media, and put together the script for the whole event in terms of sponsors and all that. J.B. Bain, who really greenlighted the idea and initiated it with our front office. John Hughes, our owner, of course. So, you know, a lot of people came together to make it a success in conjunction with the local television station, Fox 40 here. From calling it, it was fun to tell anecdotes, you know, about players, you know, how they did last year, how there was even a funny reference because Quinn Brody, we had done these highlight packages leading up to the game where I voiced like a 2-minute, you know, little recap of the spring training action. And so you sort of get into it. Like Quinn Brody made this, who was a player on our team for a good part of last year, an outfielder, made some really nice catches in these spring training games. Well, in real spring training, Marco, with the Mets, he participated in some of the games and made this throw home to actually throw out a runner and end the game. And the Mets won it. And so I said something to the extent of, it's rare where you can be in two places at once, but in this case, it's true. In both our virtual game and in Mets spring training, Quinn's making a real impact. So there were funny moments like that. On a more poignant message, or our more poignant message, was that it gave us an opportunity to thank first responders, to thank those in the community making a difference, to provide a vehicle where folks could feel connected to baseball, even if it was virtual. And the fact that I was sort of the conduit to be able to articulate that appreciation is something I don't take for granted. Even SUNY Broome, which is a local community college here, is a sponsor, and allowed us the opportunity to thank all the educators across all levels that are doing distance learning and working with children with special needs. So it was not a typical broadcast, and that was a good thing.
And speaking of members of the community, we've heard a lot about New York. You're in upstate New York. How is the community there doing with this whole situation?
I think everyone, that I know, fortunately, is doing fine. Obviously, downstate, there's been, lots of more cases, but it doesn't take away from the seriousness of how people are operating, whether you're out at the supermarket and practicing social distancing or wearing masks. But, we're only 3.5 hours away from New York City. I'm from Long Island. Many that go to the university here, SUNY Binghamton University, are downstate students who are affected. So we're not immune to that in any way. I think people are very connected. They may have family, they may have friends, if not in New York and New Jersey, any of these, surrounding areas in the Northeast. And certainly the health guidelines have mostly been statewide from Governor Cuomo. So, schools being shut down, that's a statewide thing. And the same things you read about all over, how do you make sure kids are fed, and that, all those domino effects from a decision like that is certainly powerful. But I think I love the resilience we've seen from our community. Just walking around the area, people are friendly and optimistic, and again, trying to handle what are these unprecedented times. And I imagine the same is the case in Akron.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing to see the resilience here, really people around the country and the world in this whole situation. Obviously, we're hoping things turn a corner and we can get the season going sooner rather than later. And one of the highlights on the calendar for the whole Eastern League is the All-Star Game coming up on July 15th in Binghamton. Now, you've been working on this, I imagine, for a while. Can you tell us what to look forward to there?
Marco, thanks for asking. It's going to be a whole week of festivities, home run derby, All-Star Game. And it was fun in putting together our media guide. Obviously, the All-Star Game is certainly a focal point. It's remarkable to look back, I think dating back to 2017, when the Bing at Home, as it was called, effort to bring the All-Star Game here began. And there was a major campaign. And then for it to be awarded was just such a testament to this community. We were just talking about community. And our owner, John Hughes, was really someone that was at the forefront of that. And it was a major accomplishment for everyone here. And it's such a bustling community, in normal times, that folks, that I'd run into at our booster club dinners and all that can't wait. So our preparations, just keep on going, just making sure everything's in order, and, how we would handle any of our big events, opening day, all that. Obviously, this is the first time for us hosting an All-Star Game since 1994. And it was actually not the Eastern League All-Star Game. At that time, it was the AA All-Star Game. So it's certainly a crown jewel event. It's an event that will bring together the entire community. Summers here are beautiful. So, can't wait, and really looking forward to it.
Now, you've already had some great experiences with Binghamton and the Mets organization, and you got a chance to go down to spring training this year before things got shut down. What were some of the highlights?
Yeah, it was the first time I had been down to Mets spring training. I've only been to spring training once before. I went to Yankees camp in Tampa. And so the chance to see the Mets facility, it's undergone some major renovations. And so it's just a very impressive facility. But the Mets were great in terms of making players accessible. We interviewed Pete Alonso, Jeff McNeil, David Peterson from last year, who was with AA Binghamton the whole year. Stephen Degosic, who reached the majors as a reliever and was with Binghamton and Syracuse. And Luis Rojas. How can I forget him? Interviewed Luis, who obviously became the Mets manager and was the Rumble Ponies manager in 2017 and 2018. I was really impressed by him. He was not just friendly, but really remembered Binghamton. It wasn't just the sort of pleasant, oh, yeah, that's right. He really is incredibly well-liked in this community and held in high regard, and was asking about folks that worked here. And so that was a pleasure to speak with him, and I think he has the potential to be an excellent manager. So spring training was great. Who doesn't like being in Florida in February? And it gave us a chance to provide some interviews and content to fans who, as they are now, certainly hungry once you get spring training going to get fired up for the season. And those live on our YouTube channel, so folks can check them out if they'd like.
Well, a couple of folks that people here might be familiar with. One is a former Rubber Duck in Sam Haggerty, who played for the Rumble Ponies last year. And also want to ask you, of course, about Tim Tebow, who swept through the Eastern League a couple of years ago. What are the updates on those guys?
I'll start with Tim. He is going to be at AAA Syracuse, where he was last year. That's confirmed by the Mets. So I only saw Tim didn't engage with him personally, but saw him down at spring training, and I know he's going to be involved in the World Baseball Classic next year, I believe. And so obviously Tim gets a lot of attention. Binghamton's a small town in terms of people know each other, and everything that people have said about in terms of Tim Tebow has been good, really positive. So I think people really enjoyed having him here. Certainly wish him the best in Syracuse and in all his aspirations. For Sam Haggerty, Sam, was called up to the Mets in September, and I was actually at a Mets game where he scored a run. I think it was his first run of his career. He had gotten a lot of attention just in one of the videos that went viral was his Syracuse AAA manager. There was this video of him telling Sam he was going up to the majors, and that was sort of a video that people enjoyed. Sam was designated for assignment by the Mets when they acquired or signed Dellin Betances, and then Sam was formally released and ended up signing with the Mariners, and he is in their farm system. Signed, I don't know the details of his deal contractually, but is in the Mariners farm system, and certainly I think has a bright future as a player. Really enjoyed having him in Binghamton. Very confident. Obviously, his speed is an incredible asset and has a lot of athleticism. Can put him in the outfield, can put him on the infield. So excited to see where his career is going.
Well, Jacob, it sounds like you're just like me, and you're excited to see some baseball at some point. But I hope everybody is staying safe there, and thanks so much for spending some time and joining us.
Oh, of course, Marco. My best to you and Jim and the whole crew, and look forward to hopefully doing this in person down the road.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jacob. And we also want to thank this week Mike Sarbaugh, who joined Jim Clark earlier in the show, and thank you for listening. Tune in next Sunday evening at 6 o'clock for another episode of At Home with the RubberDucks. We'll be bringing you these every week until the RubberDucks season begins. For Jim Clark, I'm Marco LaNave. Stay safe and healthy, everyone.
Thanks for listening to At Home with the RubberDucks. To listen to previous shows or for more RubberDucks baseball, follow the Akron RubberDucks podcast on the iHeartRadio app. For the latest on the team, go to AkronRubberDucks.com and follow the Akron RubberDucks on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Akron RubberDucks Baseball. Affordable family fun.